John McGuinness said electric bikes are
Oh!
John McGuinness said these things are compared to like a works 250 grand Bray bike. Faster than I thought they were.
Off the line now with Ollie Linsdell having taken over the ride from the injured Dan Dean.
Oh! They're heavy. They're too heavy, aren't they?
Ollie Linsdell stepping into the breach in the last minute for the locally based Man TTX Racing. Next off is number 7, that's Yoshinari Matsushita, the Japanese rider, on the Mirai Racing KMI Komaki machine. Yoshinari, who also took part in the race last year. Next on Stanford on the Brunel X Racing electric bike. Brunel took part in this race in 09 and 10. And that is machine 10, Antonio Maito, and the Torque high-end racing machine, Antonio Maito. This is number 18, that is Gary Johnson. We were talking to this beforehand from Gary Johnson, putting the disappointment of earlier on this afternoon behind him. And just one more machine to leave the line now, and this is number 14, Ron Barber. Ron Barber, Barry, of course, the previous winner of this race in the very first year with the TGM IOT Vienna team on their 0 M. So, those are the machines that is left. Now, of course, there are quite a number of machines whose names appear in the race guide who actually aren't out there racing, including the second Ecotricity Kingston machine, which should have been ridden by Paul Owen. There's no sign of that. No sign of the Sara Lee team's entrant, the SP7, which Paul Shoesmith was due to ride, and Imperial College London, one of a number of university-based bikes here. Roy Richardson was due to ride that, so no sign of that either. But the one that has really come as a surprise is the absence of the Bournemouth Kawasaki Zytec Automotive bike, which was due to have been ridden by James Hillier. So I don't know if maybe that will go to the line a little bit later on, but for the moment all those who were lined up have departed. But this, of course, is the last opportunity to practice and qualify. Now, in the past, the TT authorities, I think I'm fair in saying, have been reasonably relaxed in terms of enforcing the qualification standards to the letter of the law, bearing in mind the amount of effort and expense which these teams have taken to get bikes here. So it's always possible that James may be able to get out there, but this Kawasaki Zytec ZX10 is an interesting development in electrically powered bikes, because unlike most of the rest of them, it does actually have a gearbox using a Kawasaki clutch and transmission, which they hoped would improve its acceleration right from the start. And if they can prove that this kind of transmission does work, then that may well do more than most other innovations to speed the development of the electrically powered bikes. But for the time being, there's no sign of it. I can see a certain amount of activity actually down there in Park Ferme, and I can see that there is still one electric bike in the Park Ferme area. So maybe we might see it a little bit later on, but they only have a certain amount of time to get the machine out there before we will be